Hey guys, I am writing a section in my upcoming volume about the setup of your frequencies that essentially embodies your physical body, how it's set up, how it actually starts getting set up, and what the setup is about. And then a part of it, I'm explaining how it is essentially determining the way in which we feel, the way in which we think, and the way in which we behave in general. And why it is set and programmed such that it makes it extremely hard for us to become true thinkers. If you are a true thinker, you're a minority, regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, regardless of anything that this physical world has categorized you as. And the 1%, the so-called 1%, counts on it. They count on the majority of people not to be true thinkers. Hence, majority are not, and those who are truly, deeply thinkers are in minority. And so when people talk about minorities, if you think of it at the frequency level, or what I call the beta body level, it has a whole new meaning. In fact, when we start looking at ourselves as well as our society and our environment at the frequency level, at the energy level, light, the things that I'm discussing in the upcoming volume, everything that we have been fed in terms of what different categories mean, what different personalities mean, gender, race, and all that we know our world to be about falls apart because the world of the frequency is totally different. And if we also tackle our lives and live our lives without having that invisible portion of frequency in mind, we're pretty much losing a lot of stuff in our life. If you want to know an example of true thinkers who are in minority, all we have to do is looking back at history or people who are still alive. One of them is being Thomas Sowell. I hope I'm saying his name right, but that's how I read it. The way in which he has collected true data, not the data that we've been fed through the mass media led by the 1% who wants us to think a certain way. And the way he collects them, analyze them, but not only analyze them, looks at everything holistically at an eagle eye view, and then add critical thinking to it is extremely rare. And that's how you know they are in minority. We don't need to be a well-known philosopher to be a true thinker. A lot of us are, but those people are the ones who are actually in minority. So when we categorize ourselves based on gender, race, color, whatever we've been fed, that's just part of it. The more powerful part of a human being is the level and the power of the electricity and the energy and the light that it creates based on the electrical activities that are happening right at this moment within your brain as well as within your cells. And so we need to all start shifting our attention and the way we define ourselves away from the physical aspect and more towards this sort of invisible aspect, which is real, is just invisible, just because our eyes are not equipped to see it. But when we use specific devices such as EEG devices or other devices that we use in labs, we are able to clearly measure, and we know that it exists. So that's why your traditional way of looking at neuroscience and cognitive psychology and everything else kind of falls short a little bit. It's great that they are there because they're the stepping stone, but we are now ready to go to the next level of science. And that is to explain our behavior, our being at a invisible frequency / energy / electricity / light level. As I said just now, they are as real as you can see me right now. And so we're not making stuff up. It's not what they call pseudoscience. It's real stuff. And once we do that and we start looking at it from that end, we realize that there is no storage in the mind. There is no processing of it because it's all collectively being traveled through the sine and cosine waves of your frequencies. That's where the information is. And that's what I have been obsessed to study for the past 10 years. There are many things that we can prove. There are many things that we just can determine based on the observations that we see. And as a result, there are many things that we use our educated guesstimate / gut / instinct to explain, because as you know, in history of science, those who were ahead of their times, the theories or the thoughts that they had were never able to be proven at that point in time because they were just way ahead of time. But then 100 years later, we were able to have those devices and make their assumptions a reality because we were able to prove it at a physical level. So we are that attached to it. And so that's why we need more thinkers. We really, really need to have more thinkers. Unfortunately, the way we've been programmed by the so-called 1% since we were kids, many of us give up on thinking because it's much easier and also much less energy consuming and time consuming to not think, to go on autopilot, because all the frequencies are already set, as I'm trying to explain in the upcoming volume. And it's much harder to shift away and force yourself away from the already set frequencies for you to start thinking. And that is what the 1% is counting on. And that is the reason we have more people go on autopilot, and the true deep thinkers are in minority. And so we can categorize minority as we wish at a physical level. Fine, that's nothing wrong with that. We do need to do that because the brain needs to categorize things because that's how it saves energy. But it's time, and I see signs of it, that collectively we start shifting our attention. We're going into the next level of humanity, in my opinion, and based on my observation, that we look at things at a invisible level. I call it the meta body level. You can call it the invisible body. But once we shift it to that, we are also able to shift everything else, because that is then our observation and our thinking becomes more holistic and more solid when it's at that level. And it's not an easy thing to do. Not many people are willing to do it. But I think the current events is forcing a lot of us, and will be forcing a lot of us, to shift our perception towards that level, because as a human being, our job is to evolve. So we were never supposed to stay at the same level of science. It's time for us to go to the next level. Short and sweet video today. I noticed the last one was extremely long, but I just wanted to put it out there because as I'm writing, I get very inspired to say certain things, and to kind of put the message, at least at this point, out there. And then once the volume comes out, it becomes a little bit clearer, hopefully, because it goes a little bit into more details. And sometimes I feel like if something comes to me and I'm inspired and I don't do the video at that point in time, then it vanishes away. And I know exactly why it vanishes away, but I'll talk about that later as well. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. Please keep up the good spirit, because we are about to go through a heavy storm, much more than we are going through right now. So we need thinkers. We need people who are able to raise their state of consciousness and truly think, and not be as judgmental as we used to, all of us. Thanks again. Take care. Love you all. See you next time. Bye.